Hello there. It's my pleasure to introduce myself. My name is Karen, and I belong to the specialist training for English teaching here in la Universidad de las Américas y el Caribe. This is the third activity and the last one for this English literature course. This work talks about some book, Frankenstein from Mary Shelley. Let's start. Previously, I already developed a previous activity from the first 10 chapters. I'm not going to try to talk about those chapters, not that much, but about the way this book was written is based on the dark gothic and romantic style. It was kind of hard to me to understand both styles. More on the romantic one. Dark gothic is kind of obvious. It likes or the difference between is the dark gothic tries to obviously talk about dark situations. Some there is some kind of mystery on it, and supernatural situations. Definitely, it talks about that uh, dark issues, mystery. However, but once I understand this style, the romantic one, it was more obvious to me. I will start talking about this later. Romantic style basically focus on the on only one person on this right now. It focus on the protagonist. Everything goes around him or about around the first person, the protagonist of this story, and emphasize a lot their feelings. If you ask me, I would say they overreact everything, every feeling or every situation they describe on the book. It's a little bit more emphasized or it's overreacted. I understand the background on the history where these style were born. So even the lack of communication, or the fact that the communication was no so easier like nowadays, it kind of make overreact some situations that maybe were not so bad. Well, it's the impression I get, but basically everything is focused on the protagonist and on a dark way. Everything's bad, everything is so dark, everything's wrong, you know. Um, about the characters, I would like to talk about them first. mm, I don't want to talk about the previous ones, Victor's Frankenstein family, because I already spoke about them on the previous activity. Now, on the last 10 chapters, appear four new one characters. Those belongs to the lazy family. The lazy family. Well, I can talk about this later, but the lazy family house is where the monster gets hidden for more or less like a year, and that is where this monster learns about how to be a human being. Um, he this kind of discover himself in some other situations, but is here into this house in next to this family, where he finds out um, more than learns how he learns about some chores, daily chores for daily life. He knows about friendship, companion, love, that feeling about about have a family or have someone that loves you or cares about you, and he feels the need to reach someone to have those feelings together. So and some that those are the characters, the new characters into this new one. Well, the last 10 chapters of the book. There are some others, but they are not important, like the people on the boat, or well, the ones that were traveling with. Let me see. I forgot the name. I'm sorry. With Robert. The ones, well, on the first story, the ones that travels with Mr. Robert Walton, but I don't think this is important. So well, basically there is 4 new characters. Well, let's begin about what's going on after William's killing. Basically, Victor's freaks out because he knows. Well, it's not just the Williams killing, because Justine was punished for this crime. So basically, Victor feels guilty for both killings, so both deaths. He falls in depression. Well, I will I will talk about my impressions about the book later. He falls into depression. He traveled with his family away, so we can all together get some kind of refresh. So they travel. Suddenly, the monster finds him, and basically the new chapters are about the why the what the monster was living after his creation. So well, looks like the monster wake up, it starts to feel the heart beating, the breathing, everything. He doesn't know what is this, what is to have life. So well, how we see before on the previous 10 chapters, he runs away, and well, once outside on the forest, or well, just outside, he tried to figure out that well, he starts to feel hungry, to feel cold, warm, um, to have those natural feelings, like he has to eat, he has to drink something, he has to survive. So he starts to collect some kind of fruits, and start to maybe kill small animals. He discovered the fire in some storm, um, and discovered that he can use the fire to keep himself warm or to cook something. So little by little he starts to discover how to survive. Also, he starts to discover that he's a little bit different at some to everybody else. So when he found some kind of some population next to him, he realized he's different, and nobody wants to approach him because he's ugly. He's something totally different. So well, basically he finds some place to keep hiding, and this place is the Lancy family house. They have like some kind of farm or something, and well, he starts to live there and to steal um, food from them. But how he stays hidden on that place, he starts to notice how this family, a good family, I have to say, um, live their daily life, even though all the bad circumstances around them. They had some economic issues. I don't believe those issues are important to mention into these reports, or I don't want to talk about it. But basically, they were struggling with some family issues, love things. Anyway, the monster start to have feelings, strong feelings and love feelings for this family, and in some point he decides that he needs to have a word with them. It's important to know this family is composed for, well, the father, Mr. Delancey. He has two children. Well, those are not children, but has a daughter and has a son. The son, at some point, brings his fiance to live with them. So, well, basically, in some point, were just three of them, and then were four. And the monster listens the daily life between the four of them. The father is blind, so in some point he understands that how he's the one that cannot see. Maybe he can reach him and convince him to be friends, because the father cannot see his ugliness. So, well, someday the daughter, the son, and the fiance uh, went out, and the monster goes to Mr. Delancey, the father. They have some kind of conversation. Mr. Delancey is pretty kind to him, even if he doesn't know the monster. The monster knows them very well, because has been living there like almost a year, more or less like a year. So I believe he doesn't know how to choose the correct words to introduce himself to someone that doesn't know anything about the monster, but the monster knows everything about them. Well, basically, the kids, the daughter, the son, and the fiance arrives or comes back to the home and find the monster there is ugly. They freak out, and the son starts to fight against the monster. The monster doesn't easily. He could kill them. He could kill every one of them, but how the monster had some feelings for them, he just ran away. Well, he runs away. He tries to find some other place to be hidden. He realized he would like to have someone besides him to share time, to share life with him, but there is nobody. Even this kind family didn't want to meet him. So in some point, and this important, he has some other um, meetings with some people, but the important one is when he decides that maybe if he takes or kidnap a child, since it is very young, maybe he can teach this child to love him, to prove that he's not a monster, he has nice feelings. So, well, surprisingly, the child or the kid he finds is William Frankenstein. So, well, he finds him. He tries to convince him to go to live with him. That he's going to have a good life. That he's a good person or a good monster. And, well, obviously the kid freaks out. It says that no, there is no way he runs away. He has a family, and his father is the Victor's father. Obviously, is Alphonse Frankenstein. Is an important person on town, so the monster better leave him alone, because the father is important on the town, and they can do something about against the monster. Once the monster discover William, the kid, is part of Victor's family, his creator. And well, it's important to know when when the monster runs away from where Victor Frankenstein created him, he stole some kind of notes, his diary. Yes, he stole his diary, Victor's diary. So when the monster learns how to read, uh, he discovered that he was just a creation, mm, without love. Um, so he feels disappointed about Victor's. He starts to have some bad feelings, like hate about him. So well, back to the story. When the monster discovered that William, that kid, is well, he maybe didn't know that William was the brother, but that belonged to the Frankenstein family. He got mad, he got crazy, and kills him. Um, Obviously, he realized that that was wrong. He shouldn't kill the boy, but well, the damage was done, and um, even though he decided that is going the punishment for Victor, or Dr. Victor, needs to continue, and uh, he's the one that takes the medal from the kid and put it inside a bag or somewhere with Justine, and that's why they found Justine with this medal. Well, so the monster definitely knew that he was basically killing two persons with his actions. Well, the monster tells his story to Victor. Uh, Dr. Victor was kind of empathic on the beginning, when the monster started to talk about his feelings, about his loneliness. But once the monster starts to talk about William's death or William's killing, he gets mad. He knows that he cannot win against the monster, but he wants to kill him. Before Victor can continue with his revenge, the monster stops him and told him that he knows what he's done was wrong, but that it might be some kind of solution. He requests a companion, a monster lady, to be besides him, and with this condition, the monster promised to go away to the end of the world and don't bother Dr. Victor, his family, or no one else, nevermore. But he needs some companion because he realized that he needs to spend time with someone. He feels lonely. He understands he killed Victor's brother and someone close to him, that was Justine. But well, he said that they can be even, because also Victor owns him to the monster. The fact that he created him and he'll leave him alone. So what? And some point, Victor agrees to create somebody else, and well, obviously the monster promised to don't disturb or kill or be around people until the creation of his new friend. So well, Victor goes back to his family, even though he feels so depressed, so lost, and now he has to create a new person. He should be married to Elizabeth. Um, so well, before his marriage, he requests to her, to Elizabeth, and his father Alphonse, Mr. Alphonse Frankenstein, that he needs to go away, to have some sabbatic time outside Geneva, um, to think some things, because he hasn't been well since William's and Justin killing. So well, he leaves Geneva with Henry Cleveland, and travel all across Europe. He and sometimes, well, we can talk about this later. In some point, they arrive to Scotland, and here's where Victor decides to go apart, so he can begin with this new creation. Once he has everything ready, he suddenly decides that he doesn't want to create anyone else. He started thinking that maybe the monster has a plan to kill everybody, and obviously some other person is going to help him to get over with this sooner. So he decides to not create anything. He destroys the body, and well, immediately this happens. Looks like the monster was chasing him all across Europe too. So obviously, the monster gets mad. It starts to destroy everything, and promise to Victor that he's going to destroy everything he left. Um, on the same day, I understand. Uh, the monster finds Henry Cleveland, the friend, his best friend, and kills him. Um, so well, once again, Victor gets the prize, goes back to his home, and well, he got he decides that he has to get married. It's important also to know the the monster promised him also that something bad is going to happen on his wedding day. So well, he thinks that is going to be murdered by the monster, but no. The surprise the monster had ready for him is that he killed his wife, Miss Elizabeth. So well, now it's a lot of killings on monster hands, and Victor's conscience. Is William, Justine, Henry, the best friend, and well, Mrs. Elizabeth. Once the father, well, once the killing of Elizabeth is told to the father, Mr. Alphonse, Mr. Alphonse just gets sad and dies. That's it. Um, Basically, all Frankenstein family dies. I didn't see anything about another brother, Ernest. I'm pretty sure it's the one the only survivor, but well, everything else are dead. So Victor got crazy and decides that the only purpose of his life is to stop and kill the monster. So he starts to chase him all across the world, all across. Well, and there is where Mr. Victor finds, or better said, Robert Walton finds Mr. Dr. Frankenstein, um, lost and about to die on the ice. And well, is where Mr. Victor told him this story. Well, once and back to Robert Walton, his story. Um, Victor told him that if he cannot kill the monster, uh, he tried to make Roberts promise him to chase and take mm, this promise and try to kill the monster. Um, well, basically, uh, Robert Walton and everybody on that boat on North Pole are stuck. So they're also about to die. I don't think it's important if we talk about the people on the boat, but well, basically, Dr. Victor is so tired, cannot continue, and obviously has depression, hasn't been well, and suddenly he dies. When he dies, the monster appears on the boat, and is when Roberts meets the monster. They have some conversation, and also the monster loses his reason to live. He say that even if the Doctor Victor make him, create him, and well, just create him to be miserable, uh, he was his creator. He tries to apologize. Obviously, it's not working because Doctor Victor, is already dead. But well, he feels bad about all this situation. The only thing he wanted is to be loved, and he knows that he killed way too much, and that was wrong. But well, he lost his reason to live. That was to make Victor's Frankenstein life miserable. So well, he kills himself in front of Mr. Robert Walton, and basically that's the end of this story. Just a break. Hold on. About my impressions and the background about this book. The topics. Obviously, this book talks about depression, grief, violence, and revenge. It is everything around Victor's life. After I felt since the beginning that after his mother death, he was under depression, and that's the reason he created this monster. And obviously, this didn't resolve anything. Actually, this creation make things worse, and the way Victor's react to this creation make things worse. Mm, I can notice that back then was no important, was no the importance that we have now about mental health, and the way we deal with grief. So basically, every act or every situation about and around Victor Frankenstein and the monster was violence, was kind of violent, and they only were searching revenge from the another one. Uh, Also, once I finished the book, I realized how related is this story to the writer's life. Well, I just have the feedback about about what the teacher told us about Mrs. Mary Shelley, but I understand it was no easy. He came from a pretty good family back then. She had a pretty good education, and more for a woman back then. But she, even though she chose to, well, it's the impression I have. She chose to have a normal wife wifey life with his husband that actually leave her. I don't know if the husband left her for somebody else or just have some other relationship. But I understand that uh, Mrs. Shelley, or the writer, was born or was expected to born for greatness. She had a pretty good advanced education, but how I said before, she chose something else. She tried to have some children, but she couldn't. So I understand the grief that is reflected on the book, the darkness, the loneliness, about that feeling about you cannot fit in somebody else's lives, that you may lose everything. For example, Dr. Victor, also had some kind of advanced education, and he was promised to do greater things, but instead she no I'm sorry he loses everything when he tried to reach that greatness, creating something, well, not wrong, not darker, but trying to do something not natural, like creating life. That feeling or that mentality to create that superhuman. um, so well, that's my expectations. Everything goes around Mr. Victor, that I believe is the reflection of Mary Shelley. And obviously you can notice that Mr. Victor loses everything for not seeing, the good things or the remaining things in his life, and for leaving everything just to focus on one thing, the revenge against the monster. And well, also the monster, he may try to find some other way to live around us, or well, you know what I mean when I say live around us. But instead of, he tries just to destroy Mr. Victor, and they try just to destroy them between them. So well, that's it. I hope this is not too long. So well, thank you for listening.